Speed is weight. You've probably heard me say this on my channel if you've been here long enough. A-Train, a part of the team of supers in the Boys live action universe, he's the speedster of the group. That's his main power. He specializes in speed.
I'm A-Train. I'm the fastest man alive.
The fastest men in the world are here in New York.
I mean, even on Amazon.com, when you go try to watch The Boys on this website, they talk about the different characters. Even though A-Train's power does fluctuate, which you're going to see throughout this video, there's implications he just meant to be the fastest. That's one thing they always say in his bio, no matter which season. So there's pretty clear implications he's supposed to be the fastest. This could help for later on in the video when I'm trying to figure out his speed, because comparing him to other beings' speed, you can almost kind of assume his speed should be greater by default. Fastest man in the world. And on this thing, the bios seem to change when you go to different seasons, but even when you go to season 2 of this website, stuff does get updated. But when it comes to A-Train, it still seems like it's the same concept of them bringing up the fact he's the fastest man in the world. They even update and change the pictures through each season. I just want to kind of hammer it home to you guys. The fastest man in the world. Season 4, when he's apparently not on V and he's apparently out of shape, apparently. Updated pictures. The fastest man alive. Yeah, it's clear that his theme is indeed speed. They even called him fastest man in the world. So keep this in your mind as this video goes on. And in this universe, the reason why beings that have superpowers even exist is because of a drug somebody that was smart made to make beings have superpowers. And his whole brand of this universe was being the fastest being in the 7, or the fastest being in the world, fastest man alive. That's his whole theme. That's why he would race other super beings that have super speed too. He became so addicted to being the best or fastest in the spotlight, he would take V enhancing stuff that would boost a super's already crazy strength or speed or whatever. Yeah, look at all this weight. Yeah, this is not him, but this is what V can do to you. The one bad side effect is that over time, using it too much, it literally messed up his heart. So his health was deteriorating, but after this, he got a heart transplant. So his health should be back in peak condition after this. In more recent seasons, you know.
Because we gave you his heart. A super-abled heart. No more heart disease. Look, you'll need insane amounts of rehab, but luckily you heal fast.
That scene pretty much broke it down for you, and it pretty much confirmed he can heal faster than normal people too. He heals fast, and he's fast. You see the point? So one could argue in his current time, he might not be at his peak anymore via power fluctuations in the show. So one can say maybe season 1, A-Train was at the top of the hierarchy, but then thanks to the heart thing and all that stuff, he might be still fast, but maybe not the fastest in the world, because they even stated
your heart. I doubt you're even cracking the top 20 anymore.
I will be differentiating when I say at his peak speed, because there's implications currently he might not be the fastest. But let's deep dive into A-Train. Speed is the main thing he specializes in, but there's also implications he has superhuman durability too. Even beings that are amped up on V that have super strength, he can get affected by them, but he doesn't get shattered by them. This is what Huey can do to humans by accident, and A-Train ate that. Yeah, there's implications he just has straight up super strength, like how he grabbed this guy. He's not even using speed here. This guy can hit this hard, by the way. So you're probably wondering, how fast is he bare minimally at his peak without Compound V? Well, bare minimally, it's hard to get a current understanding of his true might currently, but yeah, bare minimally, we know he's at least faster than the speed of sound, because even when he was a baby.
And when I was 3, it's like these guys started shooting in front of my building and I outran the damn bullet.
If he's already faster than bullets at 3 years old, what the heck do you think his speed is like when he's a grown, full adult guy? Not to mention, we've literally got on-screen confirmation.
Reaches speeds in excess of 1,000 miles per hour.
People try to use this as his absolute limit. They said exceeds, so that could mean, yeah, just bare minimally, he's faster than the speed of sound. He can move at over 1,000 miles per hour as a bare minimum. This is without V and stuff, guys. This could be like an animation error, but this looked like he did this faster than 1 second. Looks like he did this in half a second or something. If he really did this in half a second, him running all of this in less than a second would imply he can run it at 2 times faster than the speed of sound. Some of A-Train's statements can be a bit vague about his possibly full potential on V, on what his true speed could be. It can get a bit vague because it's just statements. But when you actually kind of do the math of some of this stuff, it would suggest he's way faster than just the speed of sound.
That wanker can cover all of Manhattan in 30 minutes.
That may not sound that impressive, but you got to remember how big Manhattan is. When it comes to all these different roads, like, sure, that statement is vague, but if they're really implying he can cover all these different roads, like, there's a lot of different cuts and crevices, roads, and all this stuff in Manhattan. If he can really cover all of this in 30 minutes, that speed would suggest speed's way faster than the speed of sound. Like, just to give you an idea of the different lengths of the different roads in Manhattan that A-Train would technically have to cover if this statement is true, basically running on all these different roads in the entirety of Manhattan is a lot more impressive than you probably originally originally thought, because you probably don't realize how many roads and the distances between each of these roads all in Manhattan. I even asked AI to do some calculations for me, and they came out with speeds even up to Mach 5 if that statement is literal and he could cover all of Manhattan in literally 30 minutes. It's more impressive than you originally thought, right? And as crazy as this may seem, there's actually another statement similar to this, but this time A-Train says it himself. And it's not just assumptions. Matter of fact, this statement is even greater.
What's up, shitbirds?
How did you find us?
Please. I can cover the boroughs in like 3 hours. I went looking. That's all.
Sure, these kind of things are vague, but via math, it would imply that he would have to be a few times faster than the speed of sound if we were to take that stuff seriously. You know what I mean? It's definitely vague because we don't know what he meant. He could have been talking about the distance from bureau to bureau, not necessarily traveling every road, but did he mean every road? You know, see what I mean? It's a lot of ways you can take this. Part of me thinks he literally meant the roads. I mean, how else would he find them? Did he mean check every building? Did he mean run all the roads? Like, it's just a lot of ways you can take it, but he found them on the road of a car. So the only way he was able to find them was literally by looking. I totally understand your skepticism on believing he's really that fast, because the show doesn't do its best on expressing their speed or true limitations based on their statements and stuff, or official confirmed speed, even when he's like drugged up. So I can't really blame you for being skeptical, but this tends to happen a lot in movies or TV shows. The writer's job is not to do the math of the actual feats. They're just writing lines, and they're not necessarily doing the math of the stuff they state. But a lot of the actual math of these speed feats actually contradict their actual statements or their apparent full speed on screen or with narrative. It's like their narrative contradicts their actual raw speed we actually see. Because when he's amped up on V and they actually race, they say his speed or best is way under Mach 3 and stuff. So I can see why you would be skeptical. If his amped self can't achieve that speed, how can his base self do it? So I see why you're skeptical. Because they say his apparent best is 371 meters per second. So you're probably thinking, this doesn't make sense. How can his max speed when amped up be slower than his speed when he's not amped up? You see what I mean? It's kind of a contradiction a little bit. He technically has better speed feats when he's not amped up if you actually do the math versus their confirmed official narrative speed when he is on actual steroids. So, but I think we all can agree, if we just want to just kind of ignore all of this, he's still by default faster than the speed of sound. No matter how you look at it, even if you want to say he's a little bit slower when he's off the V steroids, even if he's not 800 miles per hour, without the V, I would still say he's probably close to the speed of sound or around the speed of sound level regardless, right? I mean, he's close to a 200-pound man moving at these speeds, so you know he would have to be able to hit hard. He's this fast, but he can perceive things in slow motion, so his combat speed and just raw speed kind of match up with each other. That's probably what makes him more scarier. Other supers, he can blitz them so fast before they can even react. He can really check and see if you're really alone by checking the perimeter real fast before she can react.
I'm afraid we had an incident at the archives. Someone broke in and stole PDR on Stormfront. Private data reserved. No one saw the thief come or go.
It's even stated in the show they need a 5,000 frames per second camera to see A-Train at all times.
And our cameras can capture up to 5,000 frames a second, so even speedsters like A-Train can always be caught on camera.
With the weight of his punches, he can strike her head against the wall to crack the wall. This situation is necessarily without V. He can hit her this hard through concrete. Yeah, so we've literally seen him punch through concrete walls. We know his punches can produce that much energy or weight. Look how he treats the wall right here, for example, without even using that much speed. Because if he did, how the heck would the Deep even dodge that punch? You know what I mean? He clearly has the speed advantage over the Deep. There's clear evidence he has weight behind his hits because they state
All those needles jammed into her arm at the same time. I mean, one of them actually shattered the bone.
Even though it's implied he may be nerfed without the compound V and stuff, it's still implied he's way faster than everybody else in combat speed. Like in this occasion, he was on V, for example, he was too fast for Starlight, perceiving her in slow motion. Considering how durable Annie is, or Starlight is, him being able to strike and affect her is impressive, considering the same girl that can eat bullets from guns, like this exact model, she got shot by the Is. Sure, this occasion he was on V, but he could more than likely do this without V. Literally kicking off this concrete and cracking it. If he can do that as collateral from running, imagine him ramming into you. And stuff like this proves his speed is literally weight by the power of his hit. He was on V here though. He can literally splatter a human by running into him. A-Train was on V here. It's like either or. If he can pull all this, imagine with him ramming into you with this kind of force. He was on V though. I'm thinking he's probably using the speed to try to pull it, whether it could be strength or speed. Either or, that's impressive, I would say. It's stuff like this. Even though he is V enhanced, I would think this would imply he could probably level an entire building if he can really pull stuff like this with his raw strength. At the very least, if he was to ram into a house, he would probably be able to do catastrophic destruction in no time to it if he was just to hit it at full speed, based on all this stuff I've shown you so far. The Deep is not the strongest guy of the show or nothing, but his punches are implied to be able to do this to Starlight. Look how he does this to Concrete. We could assume this goes for the Deep's durability, his super speed strikes, and damage beings like the Deep. You see the weight of A-Train's punches here against the Deep. This can let you know his striking power when they teamed up on him. Will the final season make him faster? Will he be able to surpass Mach 90 or something, or way higher? But if we want to go off his speed when it comes to his songs, that would kind of imply he's even faster than everything I've said in this video. I don't want to take it too seriously. That's why I'm putting it at this part in the video. But like, there's some stuff or statements that could imply he's way faster than everything I just said.
A-Train supersonic with the shit like, whoa, like they got nothing on me when I vote.
Like, I'm not trying to say he's actually faster than lightning and light, but that song, that would be crazy if that song ended up coming true. Wouldn't that be crazy for A-Train? That would definitely solidify him as the fastest in this whole universe. I mean, there is a super that can actually shoot out blast of light, but that's none of my business.
Electricity goes in, blast comes out. Close your eyes or else I'll blind you.
And while everything was frozen, apparently A-Train treated these blasts like slow motion? Blast of light? A reasonable argument when it comes to raw speed, one could say at his best, I'm not going to say currently because, you know, he's gotten slower, he's out of shape, but one could say A-Train at his best, even without counting the temp V and stuff, one could argue he's just a faster character than Homelander. Obviously, Homelander is stronger or better character overall in raw power, but one could argue in the aspect of raw speed at his best before he got, you know, severely out of shape and stuff, he could be faster than Homelander in raw travel speed, guys. I know the writers aren't doing the math to this kind of stuff, but this kind of stuff implies that these characters, Homelander and A-Train, this could imply that they're both way faster than 5 times the speed of sound because, you know, bombs, right? And you're all probably familiar with the fact that bombs do explode. See, here's the thing. Imagine a bomb exploding like a C4 explosion. You know, the explosion radius spreads really fast, right? Imagine a speedster character having to outrun the actual explosion with their actual speed. And these explosion radiuses have official calculations. This can kind of give you an idea of these characters in this universe's speed. If you can outrun a literal explosion of C4, this type of stuff is measured. And this is the kind of stuff Homelander did when it comes to outspeeding an explosion like this. This kind of thing happened off screen, but you see, he did save Butcher. Homelander's speed. Again, I don't want to make this too math heavy, but for Homelander to actually be able to outrun an explosion, he would be bare minimally need to be 20 times or over 20 times faster than the speed of sound. If we assume A-Train at his best is faster than Homelander, that would kind of imply A-Train by default would be over 20 times the speed of sound. You see what I mean? It depends on how you want to look at it, though. If you believe Homelander is actually faster than A-Train at his best, it depends on how you want to look at it. When it comes to the narrative, A-Train at his best was supposed to be like one of the fastest beings in the world, even including Homelander.
I'm A-Train. I'm the fastest man alive.
Fastest men in the world are here in New York. Who will come out on top?
That's why I say when it comes to feats, a lot of the writers don't do math when it comes to feats. These beings are apparently setting world records and are apparently the fastest in the whole world. But yet Homelander outran something way faster via feats. That's one of those things the writers are not going to calculate the speed of C4 explosions. You see what I mean? If the fastest men in the world are only Mach 1, how did Homelander move 20 times faster than the speed of sound? You see, it kind of reminds me of DC Comics on how the DC Comics says if you go a certain speed, you will enter the Speed Force. But there's been times where characters like the Flash have went way faster than the speed of light and they don't go in the Speed Force. Not to mention characters that are not speedsters in DC go faster than the speed of light without going into the Speed Force. Like how Green Lanterns can just travel around the universe at billions of times faster than the speed of light and they don't go into the Speed Force. You know, it's one of them things the writers can't do math for everything, right? So it kind of reminds me of this situation with A-Train. Yeah, officially they say he's Mach 1 at best. There's some calculations that could imply he's Mach 4, like I've said in this video. Then there's calculations that could imply he's Mach 20 times faster than the speed of sound if we compare him to Homelander being able to outrun the speed of a C4 explosion. Remember guys, this is only if we assume at his best he's 20 times faster than the speed of sound if we assume he's even faster than Homelander based on that calculation of outrunning that C4 explosion. But your thoughts are more than welcome below. Do you think he's slower than Homelander at his best? What do you think? I personally think it's just the writers not doing math, which is fine. Writers aren't supposed to be making these shows, writing scripts and doing all that kind of math. They're not expected to do all that, right? But yeah, that's probably the reason. They just didn't do the math of their feats. You know, they didn't put into account Homelander being able to outrun an explosion would be that fast. People aren't mathematicians, you know? Even according to the Amazon.com, the boys' official site or whatever, when they're talking about A-Train, despite him not being on V, despite him apparently being out of shape, they still dub him on this website the fastest man alive. You know, that's why I say it's a good argument to be made. Whatever Homelander can do in speed, you could kind of assume that A-Train should be able to do it. You see what I mean? But overall most powerful is obviously Homelander, of course. At these speeds, how hard would A-Train be able to hit? Will he get stronger in season 5? Will he be able to punch Homelander and hurt him in season 5? Will he train off screen to get stronger so he can even hurt Homelander to help the boys out in the final season? But regardless, A-Train himself believes you should hit that like button, guys. I would really appreciate it. It would really help out a lot. Respect his might, though, even though it's kind of hard to really pinpoint his speed. He's at least faster than the speed of sound, right? But I gotta say thanks for the donations, everybody. It really helps out. A-Train's pretty cool. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.